I married the worst woman ever. Her cheating ruined our relationship forever. This is going to be a long read, but this entire situation has been agonizingly traumatic. If even just one person reads my story, I'd greatly appreciate it. My wife Jessica and my name is Josh. We started dating in July 2016 after knowing each other for about a month. When I met Jessica, she didn't dress femininely or show any interest in getting her nails or hair done. She grew up with parents who were more focused on raising her brothers and essentially treated her like another son, neglecting her needs as a woman. She had to learn most things on her own, like how to deal with her period and set boundaries with boys. When I met her, I could tell she had no idea how beautiful she was, inside and out. The way she communicated spoke to my heart, and I fell for her pretty hard. I helped build her confidence from nothing, bought her feminine clothes, flowers, and jewelry, and showed her how a man should treat his woman. Over 8 years, we had many ups and downs, but we always rebounded and developed healthy ways to resolve conflicts. In 2020, I proposed, and in 2022, we had a beautiful wedding with our closest friends and family. After we got married, our relationship grew even stronger. I continued to show her, through gifts, acts of service, and effort, that she was the only person I wanted or loved. However, Jessica began to have issues with closeness and intimacy. Something inside her felt awkward or strange when she touched me, and she started to pull away. We went to couples counseling in 2023 to try and work on it, but unfortunately, it didn't help much. However, we eventually worked through the issue on our own and had the best relationship from 2023 until July 2024. In 2024, a 6-figure job opportunity opened up at her work, and I encouraged Jessica to pursue it, even though she didn't feel qualified. She doubted herself, but I believed in her. She interviewed and got the job, but it required her to go to Colorado for a month of training. I wasn't worried. Our relationship was stronger than ever, and I was excited for her. She returned home in August 2024, but mentally, she wasn't the same. She became distant, dismissive of my efforts and feelings, and started messaging her boss every night for hours while drinking. I told her it made me uncomfortable, but she continued. Eventually, things escalated. At a BBQ, Jessica and her boss got extremely drunk and made out. He put his hands in her pants while no one was around. Later that night, she tried putting her hands in his pants under some blankets. When I found out, I was furious and demanded answers. Both of them had been drinking, but that wasn't an excuse. I was told they wouldn't talk anymore, and I threatened to confront the guy. But they kept talking, and I found traces of messages and open doors to each other's social media accounts. The fighting caused so much tension that I left our state to give her the space she said she needed. After a week, Jessica told me she wanted me to come home and try to work things out. When I returned, I brought roses, champagne, candles, and cleaned the entire house. She came home to all that effort and love. We had relations, talked, and things seemed fine. A few days later, I noticed how much she was talking to a female coworker, and I started asking questions. It turned out the guy had created a fake Snapchat account, and they were using it to continue talking. We discussed divorce many times, but we never took that step. We started couples counseling to try and heal. I missed Halloween with her, my favorite holiday, because she sent me away, but I was hopeful for Thanksgiving. She had to work on the actual day, but she had Black Friday off. I was preparing a mini Thanksgiving for us, but she miraculously got called into work. That was the breaking point. I noticed her location was far from work and realized I'd been deceived. She was out on a date with him. I got in my car and tried to follow, but her location kept pinging from different areas. I finally tracked them down to a huge Christmas festival with lights, music, and food. I was horrified. It should have been me there with her, not some guy she'd met a few months ago. I looked for them but couldn't find them. I realized that if I did, I'd end up in jail because if I got my hands on him, I would have killed him. So I went home. I confronted her and told her I knew. She came home and we decided on divorce. She told me some story about how her coworkers saw her at a gas station and invited her to the festival, and that a bunch of people were there. I believed her because I wanted it to be true. The following week, we went to Hawaii because we had tickets we had purchased earlier in the year. We thought some distance might help. On the first night, she got angry at me because another woman flirted with me. For the first time in our relationship, she got physical. She punched me in the eye, jaw, and chest about 6 times before I had to push her back. When I did, she accused me of hitting her. The second night, we got into another fight because the same woman happened to be at the same bar as us, and she wanted to leave to avoid a confrontation. I agreed, but when we got home, I still got blamed for her anger. I pointed out the irony of the situation, me respecting her boundaries while she crossed mine, but she didn't want to hear it. We managed to salvage the rest of the vacation and even had a good time. When we got back, we continued couples counseling. Things were okay, but I felt like the full truth hadn't come out. Last Friday, it finally did. She confessed that she had relations with him when I left to give her space, and that she was in love with him. The whole post-Thanksgiving co-worker date was a lie. It had just been the two of them, doing couple things. Now somehow she says she wants only me. I'm so hurt, confused, and overwhelmed. I wish I could escape my mind and reality. She was my girl, the love of my life. Now when she touches or kisses me, it all feels false and wrong. Let's hear what some of the comments have to say. Here's the first one. You are like myself, always hopeful for days gone by. I lasted 17 years like a dumb A. She has a good job, so let her go, man. She keeps coming back when he won't commit, but probably because he is married. You sound like a good man, dude. Find an appreciative woman to shower with love. She will change for about 2 weeks at most, just like cheating men do. Good luck, sir, the next comment says. Since she knows she'll get away with it, she will continue to cheat. You love her and value the relationship, but clearly she has shown over and over again that she could care less about you or the relationship. She loves the security, not you. The next comment is more direct. Get a good divorce attorney and seek therapy for yourself. Once she's served divorce papers, keep track of everything she sends you through text or social media. And if she assaults you again, take pictures too. She's going to paint you as abusive and evil in every way she can. You need to take extra steps to make sure she can't get away with her lies if it gets down to a legal point. Here's another commenter's bold perspective. First, I will determine if he is married and directly inform his wife. Then, I will review their HR policies concerning the moral clause. I will engage a top-notch attorney to implement a scorched earth strategy. I will file for adultery in the divorce, pursue a lawsuit for alienation of affection, and take legal action against their company. They will opt for a settlement out of court, especially since it is a publicly traded company. The last comment says, like all commentators, it's shouting out loud, "Divorce!" Sorry, OP, but there is no discussion about it. She disrespected you in the worst possible way. Not only the cheating, but also literally the physical abusing. That's a big no-go. That behavior was just a reflection of her inner self. For your own peace of mind and for your own dignity, get a lawyer, take enough evidence of her infidelity, serve her with divorce papers, report the affair partner to HR, and sue him for alienation of affection if it's possible. Go hard on AP and on your wife. She has to taste her own medicine. OP, here's what I think. Given everything you've been through, it's clear that trust has been deeply damaged, and rebuilding it would be incredibly difficult, if not impossible. It may be best to prioritize your own mental health and well-being by stepping away from this toxic relationship, as continuing to stay could cause more emotional harm. Seeking individual therapy might help you process the trauma and gain clarity on your next steps. Surround yourself with supportive friends and family, and remember that healing is possible, even after such a painful betrayal. Therefore, Jessica, your wife, gets the boot, OP. Right, Kitty? Let me know what you think about this and put it in the comments. Make sure to watch the next unbelievable real-life story. She lied to me for years. Is our marriage worth saving? I'm 27 and my wife is 29. We dated for 3 years and got married in February of this year. My wife wanted to wait a bit longer, but I convinced her because I wanted to get married as soon as possible, and I thought we were at the perfect age to get married and start a family. I believed that since we loved each other, there was no reason to wait. After convincing her, we got married, and we even planned to have children next year. Our initial plan was to enjoy the new year, go on vacation, and then start trying for a child. Everything was going well, and we were both happy, but a few days ago, I received a random text on Instagram. When I asked the person who they were, they didn't tell me, and now I'm left wondering who it could be and trying to figure it out. The person claimed that my wife had dated one of her close friends before me, gave me his name, and sent me a bunch of photos as proof. I didn't know anything about this. I know all of her friends and she knows mine. I've never had a problem with any of them, including her male friends. However, when we started dating, I told her that I didn't want to be with someone who stays friends with their exes, and she agreed to that. But she kept this hidden for years. Now, YouTube audience, here's where it gets interesting. I confronted her, showed her the photos, and asked if they were real. She admitted that they were, and started crying. I told her that I was angry because she had lied to me for so long about something so important. My wife said she kept it hidden because she was afraid I would leave her. I told her that lying wasn't the answer. If we don't agree on something important, we should part ways and find partners who are better suited for us. That's what mature adults do. She said she didn't want to lose me, and she wanted to be with me, but she also didn't want to lose her friend. She told me she broke up with him 10 years ago and asked if I didn't trust her. I responded that trust isn't something she should bring up when she's the one who lied to me all this time. I told her I was willing to trust her and give her another chance, but only if she cut this guy completely out of her life. Otherwise, I would leave. She said I shouldn't talk about leaving, but if she cuts him off, she would lose a long-term friend, and things would get awkward with the rest of her friends. I told her I didn't care. She either chooses him or me. I have no issue with any of her other friends, just him. I stopped talking to her, and no matter how many times she tried to explain herself, I ignored her because it was always the same argument. He's just a friend, and there's nothing wrong with being friends with exes, etc. 2 days ago, she told me she was willing to cut him off. I told her that was the right decision. I understand she's sad, but she should also understand that I'm angry. We made up, but she's still somewhat sad, and things aren't quite the same between us since this was our first major fight. So am I the A for telling her to cut him off? I think I made the right decision, but I don't want to see her sad, and honestly, I don't want to leave her. It was just a bluff. Now, YouTube audience, let's listen to a few comments about this. Here's the first comment. Well, some people here might agree or disagree with your views on exes. However, you were clear and upfront with her about your boundaries and beliefs. You didn't lie to her or ambush her. She accepted those terms and moved forward with the relationship. She misled you and hid the ex from you on purpose. She can't ask you to trust her now because she lied to you shamelessly and for a long time. What did she think would happen when you found out? If she's sad, that's her problem. Either she still has feelings for him, which means she'll stay sad until you divorce her, or she'll eventually grow out of her sadness. But the third option, and the one I believe will happen, is that she'll remain in contact with him, meet him behind your back, and continue her relationship, whatever it was or is, with him. She's already lied and misled you, and she'll do it again. Here's another comment. You are not the A. It's the refusal to acknowledge your boundary from the very start, admitting she knew you'd break up if you had informed consent, and then lying and keeping it hidden until you found out from others. That makes it all worse. She chose you knowing your boundary, and she chose to keep you by lying to you every day for years. Now, she talks about trust and such. It's all about the trust and deception, yet people just side-eye and complain, saying she's allowed to have friends when that's not what it's about. The last comment has a different perspective. You are being controlling by convincing her of this and telling her that. I didn't read anything that shows you understand her or her situation. She didn't tell you because she knew you couldn't handle it, and she was right. That concludes some of the Reddit comments. Here's what I think. A successful relationship of any kind is built on trust. OP and his wife both agreed not to have exes as friends. The wife felt she needed to hide her friendship with her ex, which is really deceitful. I'm really sorry that OP was blindsided with the news of his wife's past through a random text on Instagram. OP needs to build his trust back slowly with his wife just to make sure she will keep her word about stop seeing her ex. Therefore, OP, you are not the AITA, but your wife is, and she gets the boot. Right, kitty? Let me know what you think about this and put it in the comments. Make sure to watch the next unbelievable real-life story.